Good morning, everyone. It's Dr. Shiva Ayadure. I wanted to do a quick video today to update everyone on an important topic. It's one that, as many of you know, we've been tracking for many, many years. It's on the whole vaccine safety and immune health, but particularly the CDC today is starting through their ACIP committee to begin the voting on the COVID-19 vaccine schedule for all U.S. children. So I want to talk about that. So basically, there's a committee that's within the CDC that makes recommendations that goes to the CDC director. And then the CDC each year decides on what the vaccine schedule should be. Doesn't mean every state has to take it on, but it's essentially the schedule that the CDC puts together. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to review today when this committee is meeting, when they're going to vote, what this will mean, what the actual vaccine schedule. And they're going to talk about vaccine schedules for adults too, but I want to focus on kids because kids are in school right now. And the other piece we're going to talk about is that one of the things we want to advance is education. The Research and Education Center, known as the International Center for Integrative Systems, on October 29th, you may want to write that date down, on Saturday, is hosting the second vaccine safety and immune health conference. So all of you should be aware of that. I'll go over that. But let me also remind everyone that all the information we do here is intended to educate people, because we believe ultimately education is a way that we go beyond divisiveness and beyond left and right. And just to remind everyone, if people go to vashiva.com, you'll find out that and you go to vashiva.com/join, we've created an entire system of education based on a systems approach. And I'll talk more about it, but that approach involves educating all of you on looking at the world beyond left and right using a scientific approach called the science of systems. And we've created a whole curriculum for you. We've created a community and the technology so all of you can access it and communicate with others on it. But the essence of that is to educate people on the intersection between freedom, truth, science, and health. So that's what's going on. And every Thursday is at 11 a.m. or 8 p.m. EST. All of you are invited. There's no cost. Go to vashiva.com/orientation and sign up to come to those events, because you'll get to meet a lot of people and you'll recognize that there is a very, very powerful way to think beyond left and right, think beyond pro and anti, and really solve many, many of the big pressing issues of the day. Okay. So let me first of all educate everyone on what's going on. So what's going on right now is that the CDC has a meeting called the ACIP meeting. Let me show you what that is. So and all of you guys can check this out yourselves. So if you go to, let me go to the window here. I'm going to go right to so let me go over here to the Chrome tab over here. So if you have an opportunity, and I think what I need to do is, one second, everyone. I need to make sure that we have access to that window. Okay, here we go. All right. So if you go to the CDC's website, they actually have a page that everyone can go look up themselves. And let me present that right here. And here's a window for that. All right. So if you go to this page right here, it's on the CDC website. It's called the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, ACIP. So ACIP meets once a year, and you can see that they have two things that are important to see on this page. Let me also share it to our Instagram people. On this page, you'll see there are two important things. They have on this page the COVID-19 on the right side, vaccination recommendations, and we're going to go into that. And then, but importantly, they have on October 19th, which is tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., they have their meeting. And then October 20th, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., they vote. So let me just bring up the agenda draft so everyone sees what they're actually going to be, what the schedule is. And again, many of you probably don't know about this, but this is what the schedule is for that meeting. So what the schedule is, as you can see here, is that they have in the morning, they discuss vaccines. They have different presenters, as you can see over here on the right side. The pneumococcal vaccine, the chikungunya vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine, and these are the people that are going to be discussing it. And then there'll be public comments, and they'll vote on the COVID vaccine in the afternoon. They have one set of votes, but then in the afternoon, they have the next set of votes, particular right here on the immunization schedules. Okay, so that's going to take place at 1 p.m. where they have public comments, and at 1:20 they vote. What's important to understand here is that all of you can actually, there's a webcast link right here that anyone here can go to the webcast link and watch this, okay? So the first thing is on October 19th and 20th, they're having meetings. On the 20th, as you can see, per the agenda right here, on the second day, they'll actually be voting right here on the immunization schedules. This is the important thing right here at 1:20 p.m., all right? So 1:20 p.m., they'll be voting on the immunization schedule. So let me make sure everyone's clear on that. So they have the first day, which is more informational meetings. They review all the different vaccines. The second day, they're going to be voting on the immunization schedules. So what are those immunization schedules? All right, let's look at that. So let's go to our site here. So if you go to the site again and you go look at the advisory community, there's a link right on the top here on the right side. You'll see called Clinical Considerations for Use of COVID-19 Vaccines. And if you click on that, that'll take you to a page here, which has a use of COVID-19 vaccines in the United States, and then the interim immunization schedule. So why are they calling this interim? Because this hasn't been voted on yet, okay? And that vote is what'll take place. So let me show you what they have here. So this is the actual vaccine schedule for kids. You see they have the vaccine schedule for everyone, but this is a critical one, particularly if you have kids, immunization for children 6 months through 17 years of age. And they lay out the mRNA vaccine and the protein subunit vaccine. But for the mRNA vaccine, they outline for the kids, if your kid is 6 months through 5 years, the product that they're recommending is a monovalent Moderna, and they're giving the dosage here, dose 1 to 2, at least 4 to 8 weeks, dose 1 to 2, and the interval is at least 4 weeks. And I'll show this to you in an infographic. For kids who are 6 through 11 years old, they're recommending the monovalent Moderna or the bivalent Moderna, okay? And again, the vaccine schedules here with the booster dose. If your child is 12 through 17, they're recommending the monovalent Moderna and the bivalent Moderna. This actually tells them the blue cap versus the red vial, essentially which vaccine to give. If your child, so that's one opportunity. If you want an opportunity, meaning one option, Moderna. The other option is the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for 6 months to 4 years. Here's the Pfizer monovalent vaccine, 5 through 11. They're recommending essentially 2 shots, and 12 through 17, 2 shots. And then there's the third vaccine, the monovalent Novavax. So there's really 3 choices: the Moderna mRNA, the Pfizer mRNA vaccine, or the protein subunit vaccine, which is the Novavax, okay? But notice what they're saying. The mRNA should be used for the booster dose. So they want you to take, if you're going to choose this choice, to take the Novavax vaccine and takes the booster dose with one of these. Another way of looking at this vaccine schedule, they've actually put this infographic up there. So let me go up to that. All right. Let's see if everyone can see that. Yeah. So let me go up to this infographic. So they have this infographic. Again, this is for kids. So the vaccine that they're saying is for 6 months through 4 years, the Moderna, so primary, and then 4 to 8 weeks, you give the next primary. Okay. Or the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, primary in 3 to 8 weeks, the primary, and at least 8 weeks of primary. So there's 3 shots here. For ages 5 through 11, you can do, they're saying the Moderna or the Pfizer primary, and the bivalent mRNA booster. For ages 12 years and older, the Moderna, Novavax, or Pfizer BioNTech primary, and the bivalent mRNA. And then they obviously have for 18 years. But this is a critical one for children. So again, this meeting is occurring October 19th and 20th. Anyone can go through the webcast to get onto it, okay? So that's what I wanted to update everyone on, that the CDC is meeting tomorrow, as well as their meeting on the 20th to vote on what vaccine that is going to be the vaccine schedule that they're going to recommend, basically mandate for all US children. Okay, so that's coming up. I also want to let everyone know that many of you know that it was this movement, the movement for truth, freedom, and health, starting back in 2019. We started educating people on the idea of what is the immune system and on how do you put protocols in for vaccine safety, on giving the thesis of what does the real immune system look like versus the old model of the immune system. So I also want to let everyone know this, let me go back to this 2 Saturdays from now, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, that the International Center for Integrative Systems, which is the research and educational foundation I started many years ago, will be hosting the second international conference on vaccine safety. You can see right here, to those on vaccine safety on Instagram, on vaccine safety and immune health. It'll be held on Saturday, October 29th, 2022, which is this year, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We did this back in 2019. We had about 900 people show up, and we really educated people way ahead of everyone. And this is going to educate people on what are vaccines, what update people on vaccine safety, all the papers that have been written. But most important, you teach you on immune health and what you can do to boost the immune system. If you want to come to this event, go to vashiva.com. There's a little shop up here. We have the tickets posted here. And when you go to the ticket section, you'll see here's the second international conference, and you click on that, and it's $25. And that all the proceeds of that go to research at the International Center for Integrative Systems. So I hope all of you take advantage of that, because the way out of this is for all of you to start educating yourselves on what is the immune system, what you can do to support the immune system, what is this current research on vaccine safety, and we're going to discuss all that science. But most importantly, with this knowledge, you can also educate your doctors, you can educate your nurses, you can educate your healthcare practitioners. And so we recommend all of you get educated and then get others educated, or be enslaved, because without the scientific knowledge, you don't really have the tools to, first of all, educate yourself and get confident on what's really going on. And then you can also then become an agent of change and educate medical doctors. Many of them, unfortunately, their classroom education medical school doesn't really teach them about the immune system. They're in there for 4 years. They got to move in and out, and they're working long hours, and they don't really have a chance to study any of this. So we did this again 3 years ago. We were way ahead of the curve, and we're going to be way ahead of the curve right now, educating people on vaccine safety and immune health. So again, I hope all of you take advantage of that. Go to vashiva.com, go to the shop, and get tickets for that. Okay. The other thing I want to close on is that all of you know that because of our commitment to education, go to truthfreedomandhealth.com. At truthfreedomandhealth.com, we're educating people all over the world on why we need to take a systems approach to understand politics, to understand our health, to understand science, all those things, truth, freedom, and health. And that 12-part system we've created at Truth, Freedom, and Health will, first of all, give you an MIT-style education, which I received and organized in about a 3-hour course module on the foundations of systems. You'll also get books and textbooks, all included. You'll also then get opportunity to apply those using a tool called Your Body, Your System, to understand how your body is a system. And then we have special lectures and events. And we also have an entire community of people, so you won't feel alone, all over the world, that will also support your education. Then we've created tools which are independent of big tech, so you can communicate and interact with people. But anyway, if you want to learn more, go to Thursday at 11 a.m. or 8 p.m. EDT, vashiva.com/orientation, and contribute to Truth, Freedom, and Health. Go to truthfreedomhealth.com. You'll find out that when you contribute, you don't have to contribute anything. You get a membership at no cost. You can become a supporter at a certain level. And if you give $100 or more, you get all the entire tool set. So please take advantage of that. Anyway, I hope this was valuable. Again, today's conversation, as a reminder to everyone, is to let you know that the CDC is voting in the next 2 days on COVID-19 vaccine schedule for all U.S. children. So go rewatch this video, but most importantly, get educated, or as we keep continuing to say, get educated or be enslaved. Be well, everyone. Have a good morning.